pazagazet pisas amindlevis, Chizagam nil cho Velastok Gaviag, with Velastogog, Gakagos Wagonum, Nagamalsam Wagonum nil. Greetings. My spirit name is Morningstar Burning, and I am the traditional Grand Chief of the Wolastoq Grand Council here on our homeland. And my two clans are the Wolves through my father's side and the Crows through my mother's. I want to congratulate Maune for this program that you offer Wabanaki students, and I want to thank the leadership of the three communities who are sponsoring this well-deserved project. And I want to thank you once again, Chiwaliwan, middle age, great gratitude, and I thank you very much, and let that be so. Lewan.
The partnership is between the Mount Allison University and Three Nations Education Group initiative. Three Nations Education Group is three communities: Elsipogtog First Nation, Escanobadich First Nation, and Nagutkuk. And I'm the chief of Nagutkuk. And we are the three chiefs that are leading this initiative. Tobic, also known as Nagutkuk, is the largest Wolastoqey community in the world. About the partnership, First Nations people are economic drivers in this territory, and it is time this is respected and honored. First Nation students will be working closely through experimental learning with industry in innovative ways. The Institute will be fostering community strengths to lead and support education through personalization. First Nation students will drive their education through actualizing their passions. Education will be a means through which they accomplish this. The Institute welcomes partners from across the world to join in a common purpose: First Nation student success. First Nation peoples have always known that the current education system is not serving their educational endeavors. So we are introducing a new way to do education, starting with student well-being and incorporating research on best practice, industry, community strength, and digital transformation. The Institute will be working with some of the most respected educational leaders in the world. No politics and no bureaucratic interference.
The Three Nations Education Group reached out to Mount Allison University and the RP's group because of our commitment, our long-standing commitment of making research applicable in our communities. It is about really turning theory into practice at Mount Allison University. With our commitment to Indigenous education, the Three Nations Education Group sees in Mount Allison an opportunity to accelerate the work that we're doing in collaboration with the work that they are doing, making a difference for our Indigenous people in New Brunswick. Our long-standing commitment to reconciliation, to engaging our communities directly, I think is a reason why the Three Nations Education Group reached out to us. We're the best partner for making a difference because we are flexible, we are nimble, we have a frontline scholar team who are committed to research, engage, practice. That will make a difference in our communities and will help give lift to the province of New Brunswick, and most importantly, to our Indigenous people for the 21st century.
Hello, I'm Paul Revel. I am a faculty member at the Harvard University Graduate School of Education and the founder of the Education Redesign Lab. The Institute for Transformational Education is closely aligned with the work of the Redesign Lab in terms of sharing our fundamental belief that every child should have access to the services, supports, and opportunities from cradle to career that enable them to thrive. We've been working in partnership with Mount Allison University and New Brunswick as they are members of our local Children's Cabinet Network. We support them as they create cross-sector systems of child well-being and education, and we've been very impressed with their work. As we know, the current approach to education does not serve many of our children well. Local children's cabinets are collaborative action bodies composed of agencies inside and outside of government, with responsibilities and interest in seeing children thrive in school and in life. The Institute for Transformational Education will strengthen community connections to improve outcomes for Indigenous students in New Brunswick. Working with First Nation communities through the Three Nations Education Group and researchers at Mount Allison adds a new dimension to the vision of community-supported education. Students everywhere deserve the opportunity to thrive, and community-based collaborations like the Institute for Transformational Education will help make this a reality in New Brunswick. We applaud them for their work. We look forward to continuing to work with them, and we wish you every success in the future. Thank you.
Greetings from Baltimore, Maryland, and my apologies for not being able to be there in person today. Border crossings for those of us from the U.S. are still a little difficult given the COVID situation. I want to first congratulate all of you on the launch for the Institute for Transformational Education and offer my humble support and thanks for allowing me to be part of this as Mount Allison University and the Three Nations leadership embark upon this incredibly important mission of really rethinking Indigenous education, by bringing together principles of personalization, experiential learning, and enhanced voice for the Indigenous people together in a way that I think will represent a significant paradigm shift. Given my past 30 plus years in working with identifying and developing talents of high ability students, I want to advocate for and in some ways enhance this opportunity to really look at those voices even within a community who are often further marginalized because of their talents and abilities and are overlooked or assumed that all will be well. This is one of those moments where, as you are creating this new vision of education, you have the opportunity to meet the needs of all, to spark curiosity within each young person, to have that curiosity be fanned and supported by the community, and to really grow to a warmth that will allow all to thrive, both as individuals and collectively as a society. I think this is an exciting moment for Mount Allison and the Three Nations. I think it's an even more exciting moment for Canada and for the world, because I think it's efforts like these that really bring to the forefront what happens when we come together to raise each other's voices. Thank you so much, and again, I look forward to being part of this in whatever way that I can support moving forward.
Greetings from Kigali, Rwanda. My name is Erica Gateka, and I'm a co-founder of a social enterprise called Love and Hands. We work to help communities, that is marginalized communities, to identify assets and connect those assets to their challenges. My work has always been around empowering people to get in the driving seat, to drive their own change. And I am so passionate about seeing this change everywhere around the world. That's why I am excited to be part of this great launch of the Institute, which I believe has a similar mission to empower communities to get in the driving seat and bring long-lasting change that will outlive the Institute itself. I believe there will be great stories that will come from the impact of the Institute, and thank you to everybody who's been working behind the scenes to get this started. It's always hard to start, and it's even harder to continue, so I hope that everybody who is here shall continue to partner with the Institute, just like we will be partnering with the Institute from all the way from this side of the world in Africa. Thank you again. I look forward to joining you and continuing this journey with you. Thanks to everyone for coming.
Hello, this is Roger Augustine, Regional Chief of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. I want to congratulate the team that is working on this project. I also want to thank you for the opportunity and allowing me to be part of this great announcement. I truly admire the work that's gone to here. And what I see here, when you talk about the well-being of our communities, what a transformative idea, and this is what's needed in our community. We need to inspire our children. We need to inspire the elders as well. And I see this project doing the same thing. I also see it as an economic, social, political, and spiritual boot camp for our young people to go while they're deciding what to do with their future. This is great, and I thank you one more time, and please keep me informed. My pledge to you is I will stay with you and work with you and guide you in any way I can. So please keep me informed. Congratulations. I love you. Please take care.
Good morning. My name is Anne Drennan. I'm the Vice President Academic and Research at NBCC. NBCC believes in the power of quality education to help everyone to reach their full potential. We are pleased to support the creation of this new Institute for Transformational Education to empower Indigenous learners and school leaders in New Brunswick. We look forward to contributing NBCC's expertise in education and specifically experiential learning and applied research opportunities in this important work. We are so excited to be part of this initiative.
Hello, my name is Cormac Russell, and it's a pleasure to be part of this important launch of the Innovation and Transformation for Education Institute, which is a partnership between Indigenous leaders and Mount Allison University, along with many other partners. Essentially, the statement that I wanted to offer this particular launch today is one of affirmation, one whereby I really cheer you on, because I think what you're doing is so centrally important. Recognizing the Indigenous voice and putting it at the center of not alone how we create more inclusion and a better preferred future for those who live indigenously, but also I think, and perhaps as importantly, that we start to shape a message that says to the wider diaspora of the human race, that it's only when we hear the voices of people who have been traditionally marginalized and we bring those voices to the center that we can begin to figure out a more just, a more equitable, and a more interdependent way to move forward. This institute is recognizing that old models that elementalize and segregate and separate are not the models that will bring us into a preferred future and a more equitable future. Flourishing forward fairly is at the heart of this institute. And that recognizes that people who've been defined as the problem must secure the problem and must redefine it in their own way, on their own land, and in their own terms. This institute gives ground, it gives platform, it gives voice to how we integrate education, society, and economy. And we bring all of those together so that the people who have to live with the impacts of each can drive the change themselves. This institute, I believe, is a very important expression of how to do that, not alone in New Brunswick in Canada, but at a global level. It is a model for how we must move forward. And I am very privileged to give my full and unreserved support for this institute and for the fact that it is so fundamentally, in my view, aligned to the principles of asset-based community development and citizen-led action. I look forward to the future, and I am with you in spirit today as you launch this important institute. Thank you for inviting my voice into the space.
I'm Dr. Rama Naidu, Director and CEO of a company called 6 Degree Shift based in South Africa. For the past 30 years, I've been working in the field of active citizenship in a country that has 150 years of institutionalized discrimination. In working with citizens, 3 things come to mind that are important. The first relates to meeting people where they are at and not where you would like to take them to. And this requires a deep sense of listening without judgment to their stories, to their pain, to their woundedness, and the willingness to want to walk with them. The second element is the notion of voice and what it means for us to find our voice. If voices have been suppressed for so long, there is a sense that voice no longer has power. People work from a basis of deficit, of scarcity, of poverty, and even the voices are co-opted into a system that basically keeps people oppressed. So the notion of voice is one in which people feel seen, heard, loved, and respected in powerful ways. And that means whoever seeks to do this work must create the container that allows for this to happen, so that it's not just talk, but transformation in the deepest sense of the word. The third element is the notion of agency, and that talks to the idea that unless the conversations are about a co-created future, it is a future that does not belong to the people concerned. And by co-creation, I mean that the partners involved in this project must have a deep sense of working as peers in community to walk together towards a common goal. And to know that even in the failures and in the falling down, they'll rise up together and face a future that, although uncertainty, will be their future. And that is the essence of this work. It is about agency and about voice and hearing people's stories with an open mind and an open heart. If we have these ingredients in place, then an open will to bring something really transformational and powerful into the world will materialize, and we will do it together.
The idea of a partnership with Three Nations really grew out of a project we've been working on the last year with the Department of Education, actually, and it's called a dual credit program, where we offered an environmental science program online virtually. This started in February, and we're working with students in their own communities. So this was a real, moving beyond culture and language, which is critically important to First Nations communities, but also in areas like environmental science, understanding and having a passion for science as it's applied in one's community. So we've worked on a really successful project where we had about 30 students, both Mount Allison students and a number of students across the province that worked online. And of course, when COVID-19 hit, we didn't miss a beat because we were meeting virtually every week. The students found this really quite useful because they took the theory and we really looked at science from an eco-cultural point of view. So recognizing their world, their Indigenous heritage, their voices, but also applying it in their very community. They didn't have to come to Mount Allison to study or go somewhere else. They're able to practice so they were getting away from their computers, doing some applied work, whether it's water testing or meeting with council members or elders about the environmental relationship that they have with the land. So it was a really exciting opportunity. We're certainly going to do it again, but in doing this, I think working with First Nations leaders, they saw that this is where students' passions lie. This is where students get excited about learning. This is where they realize I'm very interested in some of the issues in my community, some of the challenges, and that's when they get passionate, they get moving, they get out there, they get their families engaged, and their teachers really just have to try and keep up with them in terms of this experiential learning opportunity. So that's been an exciting sort of small individual project. We want to carry that on, but now we want to work with educators in the schools, in the three communities. They've got great ideas, but they tend to not have a lot of professional learning opportunities. So that's going to be one of the major contributions I think Mount Allison and our piece can make. We're working with international partners as well, from South Africa, Johns Hopkins University, Harvard University, who are partnering with us now. This will be the first Indigenous-led, community-based education project that the Harvard School for Redesign has worked with. So it's quite an exciting opportunity to bring those best practices, but also for the international community to learn about education right here in these communities.
Hi, it's Dominic LeBlanc, the Member of Parliament for Beausejour and the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs. I'm very happy to be supporting the creation of the Institute for Transformational Education at Mount Allison University. The partnership between the Three Nations Education Group and Mount Allison will create opportunities for Indigenous students in New Brunswick. It will also improve the educational outcomes for many students residing at these First Nations. The Institute will not only have an impact on New Brunswick students, I think it will eventually impact the education of Indigenous students across Canada. The Institute will have a goal of providing best practice examples for not only Indigenous students, but will be a model for the education of all students in provincial schools. Once again, Mount Allison is leading the country in innovation and inclusiveness. I have no doubt that this project will bring an immediate impact to our region, but to the country as well. Congratulations.